Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try them. As you'll see, the thumbnail in this video is different than the previous thumbnail. In this thumbnail, I have on the as Scott Del Fuego coined the terminology, the internet in the Philippines on my previous live stream just died because I wasn't getting any bandwidth. I don't know why. So I cleared the cache. I did some other things, some of the windows that I had open on the top page, the tabs, and we're going to try this again. So the purpose of today's live stream is threefold. One, we're going to give Big E out for doubling his pledge to the $100 mark because he said the same thing raised the pledge. Well, if you go under those circumstances, please, by all means, abuse me, because $100 per month Patreon pledge, and the next level is $500 a month. So if you're going to abuse me, please start now. Go make a video. Go do whatever you got to do, because that's what happened recently. Because I have been abused on YouTube, and he is my friend, he doubled his pledge dollars per month to $100. Second topic we're going to talk about is how to wear scuba or snorkeling equipment in the ocean to prevent you from losing the proper method. And then I'm going to show you two different types of masks. One is a silicone-based sealer or seal around the outside of the lenses that seals to your forehead and your face. And the other one is neoprene, black neoprene. And why you should make a decision which one you're going to use, ridiculous. But they wanted these products here in the Philippines, and it's even more ridiculous, the shipping cost. To ship a simple mask like this, a simple mask, is $40. To ship a snorkel, just the snorkel part of this mask, is 1,500 pesos, or $30. So if you buy a snorkel, however, getting quality merchandise in the Philippines is another aspect of why you should bring your scuba or snorkeling gear here. So I'm going to show you the different types of masks. One is the one in this hand is a 3-panel lens. Why you want one of these as opposed to why you wouldn't want one, depending on the type of diving or snorkeling you're doing. So let me go to the comments and thank Big E. Moving on up, like the Jeffersons. He's moving on up. And again, Big E doubled his pledge to $100 because he didn't like the idea that I was being abused on YouTube. And like with Big Kevin, every time you make a video about Big Kevin, Big E made a donation. So no, it's not. Welcome to the machine, the Hapsters. Shout out. And we're going to talk about Chi Corsara's show and her angelic voice that sounds like the Lord himself sent heaven's angels to sing on her shoulders. Big E thinks he was jinxing. As soon as he came in the room twice now, I lost my signal. No, it has to do with the terrible, as Scott Del Fuego coined the term, internet here. Everyone in the Philippines is having trouble with their internet, even though we pay on time, and myself many months in advance, and they send a technician every 8 or 10 days to my house to check my lines and my wires, and they reset the modem at the factory. I still have bad internet. So based on that, in America, when I had, I forgot the name of the Comcast. When I had Comcast and I had a problem on my internet, they would give me that month for free. Here in the Philippines, once I didn't have internet for 8 days, and to get a refund, I made at least 15 or 18 or 20 or 30 phone calls. Each one had a different excuse. Each one put you on hold for up to an hour. Each one got disconnected, and I never got credit for the 8 days. So I wasted several hours of my time. So internet more than anything else. So I see people saying hello. Big E is saying hello to the Hapsters, who also run a channel, and they have an interesting channel for Filipinas and or Filipinos, more so than the American viewers, but both Chi Corsairs, the Hapsters, and several other Filipina bloggers that are associated with my channel and Big E's channel gives you a glimpse into the mind of the Filipina mindset and their natural ability to sing and dance. They all Filipinos and all Filipinos believe that they can sing and dance. And if you compare them with Americans, they are very good at it compared to Americans. They are brought up very simple lifestyle, and their hobbies and their things that they do with the family revolve around singing and dancing, and they start that at an early age. So the Hapsters and Chi and Sob, if she ever does videos, you will see these people singing and dancing much more naturally than Americans. So let's move over to the costs of scuba or snorkeling equipment in the Philippines and why you want to bring your equipment. And even something so simple as razor blades, I am going to tell you that I was buying one razor blade every 10 days or 3 shaves for 30 pesos or 60 cents. So every 10 days, I was spending 60 cents for a razor blade here in the Philippines, because after the third shave, you throw them away. They're garbage. The razor blades you buy here, the little ones that come in plastic packages, they are garbage. Can you buy a Schick or a Gillette razor blade in the Philippines? The answer is no. You can't buy it in any grocery store. If you go to the big malls, you can't buy it in the big mall grocery store either. Maybe someplace like S&R in Cebu, you could buy razor blades for years. And when I went to America, one of my tenants left a razor blade, this Gillette razor blade, in the medicine cabinet when they left. So I used it for 2 months that I was in America. And I realized that Gillette, American-made blades and an American-made post for the blades lasted me 2 months. So I left that one, and it still cuts my beard fine. Razor blades is something, or more specifically, Gillette, maybe Schick, is something you'd want to bring to the Philippines, because you can't buy a decent razor blade in the Philippines. So let's go to the comments for a moment. Jack Thompson, welcome to the machine, Jack Thompson. I saw you on Big Kevin's channel an hour ago. You were having fun. And so was a few other bloggers. So the Hapsters, welcome to the machine, the Fazio machine. And the Hapsters are good friends with Big E, of course. And Big E says he doesn't like being abused on YouTube, especially if he likes the person. Therefore, the doubling down about Big E. Thank you. So Dave K is back. Welcome back. I apologize. I hope me restarting the internet will work again. And Jack Thompson, anyone can sing. And Big E proves that theory. Anyone can sing. Now, I've not even been able to get on Big E's show because my browser won't allow the microphone or the camera to work. I don't know why. I'm going to have to get somebody to help me with that problem, because it is a problem. So let's get into the cost of a mask here in the Philippines. Now, this mask here can be bought probably as low as $65. This is a neoprene mask, black neoprene, sealer, the seal around the mask. The advantage to this mask, it's made out of a black neoprene. It's a little bit harder than the silicone, and it doesn't let light come in from the sides or the top of the mask. However, it's more resistant to the ultraviolet rays of the sun. So figure $80 for this mask, and $20 will get you a decent snorkel. Now, it depends on what kind of diving or snorkeling that you're doing. If you're doing diving in, let's say, penetration into a wreck diving, well, then you'd want to get a mask like this, the 3-panel mask. And I'll give you the prices for this. It has a panel on each side and one in the front. So this is a 3-panel mask. And this one I bought in 1995, and it has a silicone-based sealer. The silicone-based sealer is a little softer, and it seals a little better. However, there are problems with the silicone-based mask. And one problem is that the silicone itself dries up. And you can see it got brittle. And now when I put it on my head, the brittle part broke off. And this mask just leaks much too much to use and to be effective, because you have to constantly keep clearing your mask. So it's a little softer on the face, however, and it does allow light to come in from around the perimeter of the mask, which is important for certain types of deep dives. But it doesn't last as long as the neoprene. Now, this mask has never been out of a box except the last year, when I lost place where I put the box, but I keep it in the shade in the house. This mask has never been in a box. So the reason I talk about the box is because the box protects it from the sun when you're not diving and you're on the boat. A silicone-based mask, if you leave it out in the sun beats up the silicone pretty bad. Whoa! The wordsmith is here, and at the same time, Superman comes on. I just gave a shout out to Superman yesterday in a video that's took so far 12 hours to load, and it's got another hour 57 minutes left. So we'll answer Superman's question. Thank you. Well, first we'll sing, and then we're going to answer Superman's question. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Superman. Salamat. Okay, so there are people here on my live stream that are really interested to know where Daisy May is. So at this point, I will give you the best information that I have currently for today. So Daisy May, right now, last I spoke with her 2 weeks ago, was in Mindanao. If you have her Facebook page, you'll see that she's getting married to a man named Eugene, who she met last year at a wedding. So Daisy and I are no longer together. We are still good friends, but we haven't spoken in 2 weeks. So she is in Mindanao getting her papers together for the marriage ceremony, and Eugene plans on coming to the Philippines, last I heard, in November. And in November, when he comes here, the plan is to marry Daisy May, whose wedding she met him at, her friend, to your question. So that's the only information I have right now. I did speak with her 2 weeks ago, and the plan to be married is still in effect. And I'm losing my internet again. The plan for Daisy to get married to her beau, Eugene, is so if you go to her Facebook page, you could probably ask her all the details. However, she probably won't respond. She doesn't do much on Facebook. So thank you for the super chat. And there's the answer to your question. She left to help build her friend's extension on her house for the wedding reception last August. And then sometime after that, she decided to get married to a man she met on the internet. I don't know why. I never asked her why. It's really none of my business. So to give you, if that was going to be your next question, just suffice it to say that there were maybe trains of thought that we disagreed on, and it caused a ripple in our relationship. And Daisy moved on, and so did I. And friendly as she ever was to me when we were together, there is no hard feelings. There was no problem with me dating other women or Daisy dating other men. There was no problem with alcohol abuse or physical abuse or anything like that. No matter what you have heard, get a secret, which we did until other people on the internet had to go out and make a bunch of stories up as to what was true and what wasn't true. And that the reality is none of the stories that you heard on the internet is true, except the one I just told you. So there's the answer to your question. I haven't even tried to get my money yet from the IRS because one of the things that I read somewhere, and I can't be sure, was that you have to fill out your taxes. But they gave us a few extra months to do that. And when I went to get my taxes paid, and I went to get my form from Google, it's complicated, but I have a house in New York. I changed my physical address to my house in New York when myself and my house in Florida went separate ways. And for 1 year, last year, Google sent my refund check and or my paperwork to that house. And somewhere in their worthless computer system, they kicked it back to my Florida address. Now I have to change my address, which won't change my Google identification number. But I have to kick it back to my New York address so that I can pay New York state taxes. And I don't think I'm entitled to a refund, so I really don't think it would make that much of a difference, but legally I should do that, and that's probably what I'll do. So Scott was having trouble getting the money back. I think your taxes have to be processed, and you cannot have missed taxes for last year or the year before in order to get that refund check. So that's what I heard. So if your taxes haven't been processed, I don't think you can get a refund check. Now, Scott Del Fuego commentary. Good men gain good friends. They gravitate towards each other. Those of lesser character, Lord knows we have some of those, are weeded out and go by the wayside. Michael Fazio has become a friend at long distance, but true nonetheless. Thank you, Scott Del Fuego. Salamat. And Scott Del Fuego and I spoke just yesterday, and he explained what's going on in his life, and I explained what's going on in mine, and we're looking forward to meeting one another soon, probably as soon as the travel starts and Scott can schedule a vacation. That's going to happen. Chico says, welcome to the machine. Welcome back. Big E says, on the issue of proving he has money, even if I had very little money or had 100 times the money, I wouldn't care, because whatever we have is transient. Here today, gone tomorrow. And from from a spiritual point of view, which is what Biggie has been talking about in his live streams the last few weeks, trying to make people understand that things appear and things disappear, including money and sometimes friends and possessions. There are stories out there that I never owned a house in Florida. There are stories out there that I got thrown out of Florida. There are stories out there that I couldn't do this and I can't do that, and that I never owned an ocean racer. But then none of that is true. But the one thing that Big E has been trying to prove for the last 2 weeks is that we all have a spiritual side to our personas. And until we come to the understanding that that spiritual side is a reality, then we're just going to keep falling down into the same rut that we have been falling down into previously. Now, of course, some people will never understand where they have made their mistakes in life. Some people will never know about the spiritual aspect of reality. And I'm not talking about praying, and I'm not talking about going to church. I'm talking about something that occurs to people called cosmic consciousness. And the book I keep saying in the last previous live streams, Cosmic Consciousness by R.M. Buck, no longer thinks on a human level, or the way humanity thinks, or the way you thought just a moment before the experience occurs. And certain types of prayer and seclusion from the rest of the world push you in that direction. The actual attainment of cosmic consciousness or Christ consciousness or cosmic awareness or Buddhism happens in a split second. When it happens, then you realize it did happen. And the most common reaction is, wow, look what just happened to me. And that is what Big E has been pushing on his channel the last few weeks, that church and reading Bible hymns and praying to statues and false gods, your understanding of what we perceive to be God. So when that occurrence happens to people, instantaneously, from their own perspective, they're going to realize that the universe is much more complex. And there is a method to communicate with the universe itself spiritually. So the comment that Big E made, nothing is more true than that. Master Behrens, and you could look up Master, had two placards on the bathroom wall. One said, things appear and things disappear. and that was, it was kind of like a pun, because you're in the bathroom moving your bowels, and things that appeared on the table a few hours ago are disappearing down into the porcelain. And at other points he had more money, and doesn't make a difference to him because he has the spiritual spark, or has had it, and understands that life is cyclic. If I show you the views on my channel and the comments on my channel, you'll see it has a special place in their heart because of my content. But Big Kevin, his channel is growing in leaps and bounds, as is Chick Corsairs, and Big E's channel has grown 600 viewers in the last 7. And let me get through the comments, and then I'm going to go. I see somebody, Tio Bagno. Tio Bagno, I'll bring you some razors from America Gillette when this COVID-19 is over. 5 refills And this refill has lasted, it's 1 year now. So that wouldn't really be necessary. Thank you for the offer, but I sure don't want you to spend money on something I don't need. Thank you very much. I did have something I wanted somebody to bring. I would have to think about it because nothing is, I really don't need anything. I'd like to get a 10 pounds of salami. The gorgeous example of playful innocence compounded with sensuality, cheap corsairs. So everybody has loving cheap corsairs. And when I say everybody that I knew wasn't real sure how to take cheap corsairs. She wasn't a good in English, and no one really knew how to take her. But now she has come to have more friends and true friends and loyal friends than any other. Chico says is thanking Superman. Superman, you might not believe this, but in the video I have loading, or we'll have go back to loading. I gave Superman yesterday a shout out in a video in a very interesting way. So Superman, you were in my thoughts because you were one of the people that I remembered on my show. So thank you. Even though you have no idea how unique your shout out is, thank you in advance. And perhaps you have a little bit of the psychic ability that I was talking about, moving into spiritual planes of kind. I never have enough, but just enough to upset others. Jack Thompson. Now, Jack Thompson is a man that's been out of work for several months. And what did Jack Thompson do with his Patreon pledge? He also doubled it. So it's not a question of whether or not people have money. It's what they choose to do with it. And I appreciate it greatly. And Jack and I have a whole bunch of fun laughing on the phone with one another about certain things. So let's go back to Big E saying hello to Jack Thompson. And Scott Del Fuego is saying hello to Big E and CEBU, and the Hapsters are saying hello to Jack Thompson. Now, these are people that 3 months ago had never heard of each other's name. So Big E brought together a community of people, and each of the people in the community that he's brought together have also expanded their viewers or viewing time to watching the other people in the community. Eventually, it'll time. But for now, the Hapsters came to my channel today. I was at the Hapsters channel a week or so ago. I went to Lyrich Israel Caregivers channel, and I said something for her a while back. And Chi Corsairs and Jack Thompson are now friends. And Biggie, I always say this, at first Biggie and I had our differences, and then I realized I made a mistake, and then went and reached out to Big E, and he was kind enough to accept the invitation to become friends, and since then we've become friends. That is the problem with anything negative you hear about Big E, is simply jealousy of Big E's success. Now, I have no proof of what Big E says, that he be anything but jealousy because of an unaccomplished past. Anybody who has no accomplishments, no accolades to their repertoire, anybody is going to be, what are the words? Not envious, but anybody is going to look at another person like Big E or Jack Thompson, who owns his own, knew what Scott Del Fuego. And anyone is going to say, wow, I could have did that if I would just put more effort into it. More effort into whatever I was doing, I could have been more successful. But what you have the backsliders. You have the backsliders according to the Bible. Backsliding and not trying. They have people that watch shows that worthless television show from the 90s, absolutely worthless television show. And the reason I know it was such a worthless show is because I only watched it when I was with my daughter's mother. Seinfeld. It has to be the most worthless show that was ever produced on YouTube. I mean, on television. And I had to watch it because I was dating a woman who eventually became my daughter's mother because she loved it. And I cut her some slack for a few minutes every once in a while to watch it. But it would equal to me flipping through the channels before there was a clicker. You know somebody that spent their entire life waiting from one Seinfeld show to the next and memorized all of that worthless commentary on the Seinfeld show. I would say they were probably what the Lord calls in the Bible a backslider, a backsliding. Someone, an unaccomplished man or woman that doesn't try to become an accomplished man or woman. And watching television, and more specifically worthless shows like Seinfeld, did nothing for anybody's mentality when they try to relate these shows to other YouTube commentary. Let's go back to the comments. I do have Scott Del Fuego. Jack and Chi are smiling at one another. Scott Del Fuego. I tried to wind my way through the bloated IRS to collect my Rona money. Discovered as usual, the system is screwed up and impossible. And I had too much income anyway. Well, as I said before, my IRS paperwork got screwed up. It's not going to affect me. However, it might affect what address they want to send the check to. So I need to get that straightened out. John Escape. I'm sure somebody will put a video up on YouTube when they figure all of that out. Welcome to the machine, John Escape. That in the beginning didn't know what to think of the Chief Corsair show or Big E. And we used to talk about that ad nauseum. But then we both came to love both Big E and Chi. People that have come to realize that Big E is really, at heart, a good guy. He can be malicious. He might harder closer to home than some people might care. So if you're telling the truth, well, the truth shall set you free, baby. And that's what Big E does. So if he's a little malicious in the fact that he tells the truth about what's going on, even for himself, when he made a joke that he was going to start collecting Super Chat, that would have been a lie. He would have been backsliding. Really? Are you serious? And I said, yeah. And they said, where are you going? And I said, I'm going over there. And they said, by yourself? And I said, of course. So you get a house and get some exercise and a little bit of sun. You're going to men do when real men want to go out and have a little bit of working with the boys I have and not caring about, as opposed, you guessed it, some Steve Montelli. Welcome to the machine. Now, Steve Montelli, talking about big boys, Steve Montelli got a shout out in one of the most unique places in the Philippines yesterday in the video that's going to load. He's another one. Expat Prepper Larry got a big shout out where I was and what I was doing yesterday. When you see where I was and what was happening, where I was, I'm giving people shout outs one right after this live stream, including Superman, all got a shout out in the most unique way. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to make you guys, it's going to be the one video I load to YouTube, pretty much private because of where I was and what I was talking about. But the one video with the shout out, I filtered out a lot of stuff in the surrounding area. So you really, it's kind of like one of those things where I don't mind doing shout outs. I don't mind going to certain places, but some places I don't want you to see the names of a place or a particular thing. So Steve Montelli, now that boy talking about big boys, he's here. Here you go. This is what Steve Montelli got. He got these bad boys. The truth is that we are being screwed. That's the truth. Telly on his live stream talks about that when people immediately go after President Trump talked about Elmhurst General Hospital, while he was doing the live stream from the White House, while he was live at the White House talking about Elmhurst General Hospital and what was going on there, people from say, that's not true, this might be true, this is total baloney. Steve Montelli is one of the few men on YouTube that doesn't care about whether or not you like his version of the truth. So, Steve Montelli, got the bad boys. Steve Montelli got the big boys. Steve Montelli got the big boys. Not afraid to tell the truth. Steve Montelli, man in the business of what's going on today in America, and he's not afraid to tell you his version of the truth. Why? Because Steve Montelli, we all have 18-year-old idiots telling us what's done in our lives right now. And that's true, Steve. I look at some of the people whatsoever, they had no mechanical skills. I would tell them, look, all the lumber that we break down from this bulkhead, I would pick the sheathing out with the crane bucket or a backhoe. And they had spikes that were 100 years old, that were razor sharp spikes, 10, 12-inch bolts that whittled their way down. And they would want to tell me how the work should be done. So, Steve Montelli, it's even more true in today's world. Jack Thompson listens to the live streams while he's on his way to and from work and at work because Jack owns the company. So he was listening to Big E's live stream. And thank you for stopping by, Steve Montelli, as well. Thank you very much. We could sing, thank you very much for telling the truth, Steve Montelli. Salamat. And let's go back to the comments, and then we'll go to the cost of masks and snorkels in the Philippines. His standards, or what I call his standards of being a man. So, let's see what we have. I missed the thing jumped down to the bottom. YouTube is just not being cooperative today. Okay, it went black completely now. Yeah, all right. Well, it looks like I lost my stream again. Oh, it's back. Thank you, the Habsters. All right, I'm looking at the comments, and it's just skipping all over the place. Arcelius Corner, welcome to the machine. Yeah, Scott. Unfortunately, this worthless internet, as you coined phrase, is not participating today. All right, I'm down to the bottom. 3-panel masks in the Philippines might not be available in every dive shop, probably every third or fourth dive shop. But you're going to pay $150 for this mask, this decor mask, and you're going to pay $40 for a good snorkel. So you're looking at almost $200 for a silicone-based mask out in the sun. Let's just say this one I just threw in a gear bag, and this one is 40 years old, the black neoprene. So I suggest you bring a black neoprene mask to the Philippines and a good snorkel, and which you can buy for about $100 in America, and here would cost you about $180. So I now in snorkels in America. Also, almost 50% of the fins. There was one other brand named Avante. It was an Italian fin. I only just threw those out from 1980. But yeah, even though it's made in China, it's more expensive than it is in America. And you can't get a decent mask in the Philippines at every dive shop. The internet is just, it's watching this connection go on and off. I'm going to have to end the live stream. Yes, peekaboo. The mask blocks corona. If someone spits at you, yeah, it'll block the corona from your nose and your eyes. But then again, that probably wouldn't happen. Expat purposes, what do you call a... Okay, so another thing that you're going to want to bring from America is weight belts. Weight. So if you had a 4-pound weight, it was $2 when I lived in Key Largo, and I had probably 20 pounds of lead weights for my buoyancy when I got my gear on. So I didn't have that here when I got here. Well, they're charging $5 a pound for lead weight here in the Philippines. It's just lead, molded lead. So it's really $8. It's $8 in rough lead. That's not the ones. I have lead weights that are rubber coated. That's not the rubber coated weights. They're charging $8 plus per kilo here in a dive shop. So if you have extra in the Philippines, is now $200. Tanks, you're going to save $150 LLED. Get the tank rolled before you come here. All right, congratulations, Peekaboo 2 for you. Had a baby. Eight, wow. Congratulations. Yeah, baby. That's good to hear. Thank you for that. I will just let me write it down. Had baby, 8 pounds, 13 ounces. Wow. Okay, I'll call Daisy right after this, because after the live stream, I have something that needs to get done, that I've been working on. You know, a lot of people out there have all of these ideas about what I do, and that I'm lonely, and that I don't keep myself busy and angry. Well, let me tell you, if when I'm not on the internet, I think that most people, if they saw the things that I'm allowed to do and the things that I do, which are only privy to just a few people, because I don't go around showing certain things on YouTube. If the people in America, or even the rest of the Philippines, saw how free we are here in Bohol, and how I never run out of things to do. And as far as meeting people and socializing with people, I think I socialize with people more so than I don't see any other blogger socializing with the locals or the general area where they live, although they make videos. Now, in my personal videos that only few get to see, you'll see me socializing with the locals. However, if you people know that Michael Fazio on it, so maybe in the back, maybe he read my shirt, but if we have no lockdown in Bahal, we want to go to the beach, we go to the beach. We want to talk. Maybe we're not allowed to do that, but I asked the locals. They said, "Yeah, it's no problem." Only thing is, if you have to have a mask, not closer than 6 feet. Doesn't matter, and no one bothers us. So the fact that some people don't get any exercise or any sun, that's their problem. Don't project your worthless lifestyle on me. I always keep busy. I ride my bicycle. I take my walks. Sometimes I go swimming. Sometimes I go visit the neighbors. The things that we are allowed to do in Bahal have nothing to do with the lockdown that's in the rest of the Philippines. We have no such restrictions. Even I want to go to the... Anyway, how does my hair look? Get out of this lockdown is get a haircut. But me, I'm gonna get a on top. So that's one thing that I would like to do, but is not possible to do in this on the internet. Nah, I can't do this, I can't do that. To get exercise, all you have to do is just get up off your tushy and walk around your house, and there's your exercise. To get some sun, do it in a pair of shorts. If you're crying that it's too hot to walk around your house in a pair of shorts, well, then maybe you're just a crybaby. And what can I say? You think that you're going to man up at this point in life? You think you're ever going to have parodies like Steve Montelli or Peekaboo 2 or Scott Del Fuego or John or Jack Thompson or Big E? You think you're ever going to have a pair of boys like this? The answer is no. If you haven't manned up to reality, if you were never a man, if you just watch more like Big E, or I wish I was more like Steve Montelli, or I wish I was more like anybody else that you're jealous of, and you never grew a pair of these bad boys. They just never developed. Kind of like when you see a puppy dog. Never grew a pair of these bad boys, or they never dropped. They never dropped. Let's just say they never dropped. Well, they probably won't ever drop.